Hello fellas and welcome to Rimworld. This is a new game on Steam, as in it's new to Steam. It isn't really a new game in itself. At the moment it's in early access on Steam, and the only reason why it's in early access is because they're not sure what the creators of the game, the Ludion, or however you say it, they are saying buy the game as you want it at the moment, because they may very well not update this in any significant way anymore. You'll get patch updates to fix things like bugs and that, but the basis of the game is what you're getting at the moment. The game isn't technically new because it did come out, I think, November 2014 on a beta, where you'd have to go to the actual website to download and play the game that way. So over between then and a few weeks ago, I think it's about a month old now. It's been on Steam a month. So since then to when it came out on Steam, they've been adding different things here and there, adding things. Apparently animals have been included, and I'm assuming there are different events and more items and entities and different variants of here and there and whatnot. And they've added things as they've gone along, and they finally released it on Steam, and I bought it. When you do buy it on Steam, there are 4 different types. You get the base game, which is I think it's £22. For £25, you get the base game, and you can go and put your name in the game, and that's the one I want. So if you do find my name, let me know. Give me a bell. You can also buy the £90 one, I think it is, which is quite a big jump. But on that one, you can essentially give your character a name and give him essentially a description of his life, and you will be added into your colony here and there in different people's colonies, and you will become a colonist. And the 4th one is, you can do essentially exactly the same, but you can literally tweak every single little thing about that character that is physically possible. And I mean everything: hair, weight, size, build, skills, everything you can physically do right there. And on that one, you will actually become a pirate bandit leader, and your character will go and attack other people's bases. And I'm not joking, they will. So there are the 4 levels. That last one I think is £150, that last one, which is quite a lot for what you're getting. But anyway, I bought the £25 one, so see my name, let me know. And we're actually gonna start off, and before I do, this is technically the one I am replacing The Sims with, simply because, as I told you in the previous episode, in the my video an hour ago that I released, I'll put a link in the description. I am postponing the Sims series due to lag issues and my CPU. So that's why they've been postponed, and I've replaced it with Rimworld, for the simple fact that it does have, well, one, I wanted to do a series on this anyway, and the second was it does have a slight Sims twist into it. You do build essentially the base on this, whereas on the Sims you'll be building their houses and things, and on this one they do have their own autonomy, but only on this one you can't control your Sims, whereas on the Sims you can. So there is a slight differential here and there, and you do get quite a lot of random events come along as you do in the Sims. So we're going to go new colony. These are the 3 different ones. You have Crash Landed, which is the basic survival one. You'll start with 3 people. You'll get silver, which I believe is the currency of the area. You have silver and maybe gold. I'm not sure if gold is a currency, but you know you do get gold. Survival meals, you get 30 medicine components, which are used for building, rifle, pistol, a knife, a pet. That can be anything from a cat to a bear, or anything in between, and it could be one of the random, I think it could be one of the random alien things as well. So brace yourself for what we get. I've had a fox before, so believe me, it could be anything. And you get some ship chunks, which are essentially bits of spaceship that have landed. You get steel from. You get random steel, 720 around the place, and you get 7 meals around as well. The second one is a rich explorer, where you start with one person. You only get one person, but you also get gun turrets. You get 20,000 silver and 30 gold. I'm not sure if the gold is a currency. I'm assuming it is. You get a few extra survivor meals. Essentially, it's one rich person you can build in his own, but you'll only have the one person to play with to begin with, and it can be quite difficult with one person, especially when you need to start getting all your food ready. And trust me, the skills aren't easy to come by, and you'll see when I start making the people. The third one is essentially a tribe where you start with 5 people, but they have no form of research at all, and they start with very little money. Permacan, I think. Oh, it's not. I'm not 100%. I think that's a kind of weapon. I think. No, it's not. No, it can't be. I'm not 100% certain what that is. Herbal medicines. You get a club and a spears, knife, 2 short bows, pillar, whatever that is, and 3 pets and some wood. But that's all you get. There's nothing else. You start outside as well. You don't. I don't think these people mind living out. Well, in fact, they probably do. You have to build like shacks, I'm assuming. But that's essentially that one. They're the 3 different ones. You can get your own, make your own, and use other people's from the workshop as well. We're gonna start with the basic crash landed one. Right on next. Now the game itself is essentially made as a storyline. The idea is it is a survival game, and it is a sort of a building game as well. However, the game itself is mostly made to actually give your characters in your base a storyline themselves, and these 3 people are the ones who will judge what events you'll get at certain times. And the events can be anything from like added resources to lack of resources to fires, nuclear blasts, earthquakes, raiders, wild animals, anything that can be physically randomly generated. These are the people that is making them. You've got 3 different essentially varieties. You have Cassandra Classic, who essentially start at a basic level when you start off, and as you increase in time and resources and stuff, she'll increase the difficulty. You get Phoebe Chillax, which will essentially be the same. She'll go at a steady pace to begin with and increase in difficulty further on, but she'll give you a bit more space between the events. So if she's giving you like maybe 10 minutes between events, she'll be giving you like 20 or so. So she's a decent one to use if you like. I want to like be a free player. You want to essentially just build a base also. And then you get random, which is, as it says, random. You will get anything at any time, and that's whether you have events going or not. With these 2, if you tend to have events, you don't tend to get too many at once. You might get 1 or 2. You could have up to about 5 at one time, and they could be anything. They could be a random raiders, fires, power cut, earthquake, and a forest fire all at once. Everything just literally all at once. And he'll just do whatever the hell he likes. He doesn't give a damn, really. But we're on this series. We're going to go for a basic Cassandra Classic, and we are going to go for rough. Now, I will say this game is quite a difficult one, and I've heard other people say the same. You will get the events. They do help, but they do hinder quite a lot as well. The game does suggest you play on challenge, as it says, the way Rimworld has meant to be played. However, that is a challenge. Rough is challenging enough without adding to it. You also have a permadeath mode, where you essentially save the game only when you quit. you can only that is the only save you'll get. You'll quit and you save the game, and that's all you get. And when you come back to it, you can only load that save, and you can't reload the save unless you are quitting the save, and that's all you get. So unless you're starting carrying on, that's all you get. You can't. There's no redos. You can't go back to an autosave because it won't autosave. And if you make a mistake, that's it. It's done. Colonist dies, gone. You're finished. And if you kill every single person inside your colony, you've gone. There's nothing else you can do about it. That's it. You're finished. So we're not, as far as I'm concerned, we're not going to put that on in this series. And we're going to go classic Cassandra on rough. And go next. And this is essentially the world generation. I don't know what reset's for. You can change your seed to whatever you like. Just random letters. We're going random seed for now. If you've got one that a mate's on, you can type that in and it'll come up with the same one. Size, we're going to go to the maximum. Maximum size, you get a lot more variety of areas. And generate. And this will generate a big giant world in a big box. And like this, here we go. And then you have different biomes. If I go to biomes, you'll have things like here. You've got ice, which is essentially you're living on ice. You'll have these ones with essentially tundra, which is essentially quite mountainous, cold areas. You have these ones, which are cold forests. You get these ones, which are essentially the temperate standard forest ones. We have, is that the same one? That's a forest as well. We got, that's a thing you want. You got ones here. These are desert. These are sort of deserts. Dark ones you have essentially tropical rainforests. These ones are extreme deserts, which are incredibly hot. Although that one's actually very, very cold. That's a very cold for an extreme desert. I thought deserts you get them in like 30 degrees or something, but no. Fair dues. We have this one. You get a that's a desert as well. You can get things like tundras. Not tundra. Sort of like a swampish kind of one, I think. What's that one up there? That's the ocean. Okay then. So yeah, there's all sorts of different biomes you can come through. And if we turn, if you want, you can also have different ones. You have the elevation, so the height. The whiter it is, the higher it is. And that's why there's ice on this one, because it's the top, it's the peak of a mountain. We have the full set, which is, well, it's not really full to be honest, as far as I'm concerned. You get rainfall, which shows you how much rain you get. Obviously, the lighter it is, the more rain you get. 3,500 millimeters, or 133. Not so bad. Green one there. Green one, 4,000. Oh, blimey. Expect floods. And then you can have the temperature, which essentially, as obviously, is the temperature of the area. The colder it is down there. White, wow, how cold's white? Holy hell, minus 77. You better be wrapping up warm there. Summer's minus 25. Oh god, no, I don't want to live there. But let's go to the basic full one for now. Zoom in, you just zoom in, and you can hold your middle mouse to move along. All these little spots are essentially the level of the land. If there's nothing, you're flat. You get small hills, mountainous, and then you get sort of large hills as well. And also, it doesn't really, it's not as bad about the biome really. What you want to work on mostly is essentially a decent biome. You want a decent biome for starters anyway. So we don't want it too cold. Sort of minus 6. It's getting cold. 109. That's not so bad. Mountainous. That's a flat one. Mountains. The mountains aren't as bad as you think, because you might think you could build on around the mountains and everything, but no, you can actually build inside the mountains, as we will be doing. But the one thing you actually really want to take notice of is the growing period. This is essentially the backbone of how well you're going to be living off. and if you can physically get it, you want the longest one you can physically find. But they do tend to be in sparring areas. 1st of spring, 11th of fall, 6th of fall, 11th of fall. Let's see if we can find a year-round one. Doesn't look like we're gonna. Oh, we've got year-round, but that is quite a hot area. If you could get year-round, you are doing hi ho ho. Want something a little cooler, but we want something. So 10 degrees in the winter, 27 in the summer. Not bad. A temperate forest, which is the standard stuff. Mountains. We do want mountains. I'm going to play with mountainous because, as far as I'm concerned, having mountains is a good thing. I didn't think it would be when I first started playing, but after I went through my second run through, the mountains do help quite a bit. The stone types, you got limestone. You get different types of ores you can use. You got limestone, granite, sandstone, marble, slate. You can get jade if you're really lucky, which can be used for decoration or selling on. But there's all sorts of different resources you can get. But I think we'll probably go for this one here. So I'm going to select that site, and this is probably the thing that's going to, when you're starting one, it's going to take a hell of a long time. You could be spending that nearly 20 minutes looking for people, and all you get is randomized. You can't specify certain things. You have to randomize and pick one. When you're starting one, the ideal you want is them to be incapable of absolutely nothing, and you want them to be healthy. You don't want anything, so that's not so bad. You want them, that'll be a decent person. Is a criminal surgeon, which does help his medicine, and he's melee in his shooting. I think it actually says here, more melee, less social, more medicine, 1 artistic, and -3 in research. Pickpocket, that's +3 melee, +3 crafting, but minus in social and research. You get different people who have different sort of things. The age, I'm not 100% certain. If I were you, go on the 40. The 455 is the chronological age. I don't know how that works. As far as I can see, or know of, your chronological age will be essentially how long you physically lived for. Whether you've been frozen up or not. If you've been frozen for 400 years, your chronological age will be 400 years, but your physical biological age will be 40 years. I'm assuming that's how it goes. But what we want a set of 3 people who are decent in probably definitely shooting, definitely medicine, and a relatively decent one in construction, growing and mining, and probably research. But that's 5 things. And as you can see, you've got these flames here. You get 1 flame and 2 flames. If this is essentially the passion the person has for that particular skill. If they have nothing, they'll only learn it at 33%. But if they have 1 burning passion, they'll learn it at a basic 100%. And if they have 2 of them, they'll learn them at 150%. That's how they'll learn the ones they like quicker. So you want to sort of get the ones you want with these. It's more ideal to get somebody with a lower skill that has a passion than it will be having a high skill without the passion. Because if someone has a passion for something, they will learn that a hell of a lot quicker than somebody that won't, and they'll completely surpass them very early in the stage. So I'm gonna go through these 3 different people and find some people we can use, and I'll come back to you when I found some people we can use. Hello fellas, we're back after about 20 minutes of looking for people. It does take some time if you're trying to get the right people. Getting no injuries is hard enough. without having to make sure they're incapable of nothing. That's even harder, and then I've got to like figure out a set of skills that they have a burning passion for as well. So it does take some time, which is why I've skipped it for you. So we've got the 3 for people. I'll go through them for you, and we'll essentially go through their lifehood as it is. We have Lisa Mortis, who likes to be called Lalande, for some reason. She, as a childhood, she was a shopkeeper, somehow, and as an adult, she was a paramedic, and that's why I've picked her. See, she is good at medicine. She has a burning passion for medicine, so she will be our main doctor, and she's good at social, so she'll be good at negotiating with people, getting cheaper prices on stuff, and essentially cheering people up as well. When you have prisoners, you can recruit prisoners. She's probably one of the better people to use, so they'll actually come to your side, and you'll have an extra person to be in the colony. Incapable of nothing, as I made sure of. She's not very good at cooking though, or construction, or growing, or mining, or arts, or thingy, or research. But she's not so bad on research, which is the second reason why I got her. She's not too bad on that, and she just has a slight passion for it as well. She is a brawler, so she'll be unhappy if she's using a ranged weapon. So when we start, we'll be giving her the knife, and she's a prostetophobe, so she likes to use when you get really far in the game, you can actually use fake body parts like robot arms, or if they lose a leg, you can give them a piece of wood and they use it as a peg leg. She's not one to like that stuff, so she'll be using the wheelchair instead. So that's Lisa. And then we have a farmer who's Drew Logan, who likes to be called Strapping. He's 57. Oh, he's getting on a bit. He was a disciplined farmer, and he was a stalwart farmer. So he's been a farmer all his life, and he's been working with animals and growing stuff and a bit of mining, a little bit of shooting. So that's where I've worked out on him. He is incapable of social, artistic, and cooking. Now, social and artistic, we've covered a social with Lisa, or Lalande, so I'm not so bothered about that. All it does, it means they're not very good at talking to other people. They don't tend to like going to other people very much, so he's a lot like me. He can't cook, but I'm not so bothered about that because the other 2 people can. So one person not being able to cook is a minor drawback. It is a drawback, but it's a minor drawback. Since the other 2 can cook, I'm not so bad. Now, also, his traits, he's a night owl, so he'll like working at the night time, so we'll have to make sure we put him on that. He's volatile, which is a very bad thing, so if something stressful is going on, like maybe he's been rushed around a bit more, he will have a mental breakdown a lot earlier than some other people will, and that's 15%. So 15% higher than other people is where his threshold will be, and it's quite a big difference, especially in the early times. So we've got to make sure he's happy with what I'm doing. However, to keep him happy, he's a green thumb. So, and as it says, Strapping has a passion for gardening. He gets a mood boost for every plant he grows, or every plant he sows. So he'll be doing all the gardening, and I could see why. This is the main reason why I picked him. Animals, 17. These can go up to 20 at max, so he is very high on that, and he's got a burning passion for it. If we can train some decent animal sets, and hopefully we get a decent pet, we can use our pet to go hunt for us, which will save other people shooting and getting hurt. He's got a decent medical passion for him, so we'll start using him on people like for like prisoners and things we get. So we'll use him because he's not very skilled, and we don't want him helping out, well, working on these two. Well, if she's ill, then he's got to be doing it because there's nobody else that, because she's useless. Or he's useless. So he's essentially the backup doctor. Not so bad with construction, has a bit of passion. Growing, he is going to be the main grower, and he's not so bad for mining either. So I thought he was quite a decent find. And this is the person who took about 10 minutes to find. And as you can see, he's the only thing he's really got is shooting as a burning passion. And I'm telling you, it took ages to find somebody that had no injuries, incapable of nothing, and shooting. Because probably one of the worst ones to have incapable of is dumb labour, because that means they will not carry anything, and that's not a little bit. They will not carry anything. They won't haul something from there to there. They won't do it. They just physically will not do it. They're above such manual labour. So a lot of them did have dumb labour. I did get a few shootings, decent, like 17 with burning passion, no injuries, but they did like dumb labour, and I'm telling you, it can be a pain in the arse when one of them is just standing around doing nothing when they could be moving stuff. So I finally got one after about 10 minutes. He's 16, so he's the youngest. Yes, he is. He's the youngest of our people. Well, not chronologically. Well, yeah, he's not the chronological one, so, but he is the youngest biological, so he'll out. We'll see him a lot longer. Traits: he is abrasive, so if something bugs him, he will tell somebody about it. If something doesn't go his way, he'll be moaning. He's essentially the person who moans all the time about little things that don't really matter. And he is a jogger, so he moves an extra 0.4 CS. I think that's cubes. I think the square blocks per second. So he walks just under half a block faster. So they're the three people we'll be having. We've got Landre, Strapping, and Andy. And that's essentially the three people we'll be using. And since that's took so long, we're just going to do a quick startup at the moment. And I'm not going to get too much done in this episode because it's been just under half an hour already, I think. It took about 20 minutes, so it has been nearly half an hour. So we'll do this. Is basically saying you've landed and coming along. So we've got that. That they've landed. They're out. Pause. First thing you do, pause the game, because what you want to do, well, first off, get everything in sight. Everything you get, you want it in sight. So double click and then press F. That will mean people can use it. And you want to do the same with everything you have. All the weapons, you want to go F, double click, it'll get, okay then, why has it done that? There we go. You double click something, it will do all of it on the screen. Compound, that, all them, that's just basic stuff. We want all that wood. That's still, that we can get. See, that one wasn't on the screen, so that one didn't get done. That can go off. Collect those two wood, and that'll do for now. Right, now what we want to do is we want to have a look at our map. Now this isn't so bad, to be honest. We have quite a decent cross between area. We have about sort of not quite a 50-50 area, but we do have quite a large flatland area outside the mountains. The one I previously had, essentially a whole third, it was literally like essentially somewhere about from here straight along there was nothing but mountain, and that is a good thing, but the problem is you have to mine it out before you can get to it. But then there was a ton of mountains around here as well, so there's no physical land you can really see. But this one, it's not a bad map, to be honest. Now we so a bit of water up there, some chunks there, a couple animals. That I think there's some limestone. There's some compacted machinery. That's essentially things that's used for things like mechanisms like gears and things like that, I'm assuming. Limestone areas, we've got marble on that, and got limestone there. Oh, we have an opening there. See, a lot of the time you'll see these gaps there. The walls won't quite line up, and that means if you go in here, chop this down, there'll be a room here. Somewhere in here there'll be a room. It could be a small room like that, or it could be a freaking huge room that would take half the mountain up. So we've got to keep an eye for them. What do we have there? Compacted steel. Now that's something we've got to keep an eye on, because the more steel is a very highly sought out commodity. There's some more steel anyway. We've got some steel there. I'll leave that there for now. We don't necessarily need that at the moment. We've got a bit of limestone. See, eventually, you see all these chunks. Eventually, you'll be able to get essentially something that somebody can break them apart, and you'll be able to use them as like building blocks and stuff. What we've got here, we've got compacted machinery there and steel there. We've got some machinery there. That's basically on there. We've got, what's this one? Ooh, plaster steel. Ah, see, that's not so bad. We can use that. That's quite a decent thing to have, and it's right next to where we spawned as well. That's not bad, because you can use that for things like prosthetics. That's very good for prosthetics. So if someone loses a leg, that's what we'll be using to make a new one. Anything else up here? We've got a bit of steel, a tiny bit of steel there. Oh no, it goes around the edge. So we've got steel, limestone, stone, steel. Okay then. Not so bad there. We've got a few bits of. We've got some deer down here, and we have a megatherium, whatever the hell one of those are. That's sort of an alien kind of thing. Oh, we have a decent bit of steel there. That's nice and close as well. We'll be going straight for that. Down here we have a room. We can claim that if we want, but as far as I'm concerned, it's not really. There's no point keeping it at the moment. It's too much of a trek. Forks, nothing really need them. Nothing around here. Some machinery there. Nice bit of steel there. Nothing worth there. And then we're back to sort of the main area up here. Oh, what do we have here? Slate. There's some slate. Is that a gap? No, it's not a gap there. Got some tiny bit of steel there. Bit of steel there. Machinery and slate. I think slate is used as essentially war stuff. We've got some steel there. The ship chunks will essentially be turned into steel eventually. But you get the chunks, and then they turn into. I think they may turn into steel chunks, and then you actually turn the steel chunks into steel. I think. But they may be missing a step or so there. And that's our basic land. So, to be honest, what we first want to do is get a decent area starting to dig in. So, see, actually, I can just see that, if you can see this, it blends here. Whereas here, it doesn't blend. So I'm actually going to get somebody to mine that one now. That can be mined first. Whoever's going to do that. Well, now, because this is going to open a big room, and that will help very nicely. As you can see, it curves round. So that tells me there's a room here. They don't necessarily all have. See, there's another one there, look. That square will unveil a room, and it'll probably attach to this side as well. There could be a long strip there. So when you're starting these, keep an eye out for bits like that. There's no one there actually as well. So yeah, we'll get that on. What do we want first? Well, first thing we want to do, since, oops, whoa, I've sped up my DPS. What we want to do, we want to go to architect and then orders. No, well, we've got planning to do, but we'll do that later. And then we've got zones. So we need to get 2 stockpiles and about 4 growing zones. So the first we need to do, we want a basic stockpile. This is essentially where all the food and things are going to go. So I'm going to put that a 12 by 5 there. That's going to be our basic stockpile. And let's right click. If I click that, you can rename what you want. I'll just keep it at that for now because it's not going to be there for very long. You can hide it. Just sort of when you click off, you won't see, but you can do that, and you can sort of just. I will admit these are very faint. They do need to make some better colours with these because you could just about see the corner there, but they are very faint. And then you have different settings. If you click here, this will show you the settings you can get. So what we want in these, we want all the essentially all the basic things like steel, weapons and stuff can all go in there. So food, raw materials, now then, body parts, neutral, artificial, that's perfectly fine. As long as the yeah, we want them. Foods, as far, yeah, you get meals and you get your raw food. The one thing I want to do, meat, is go down here and turn human meat off. Don't want that there. Don't care about it. I'm not having human meat on there. Eventually, you will get cannibals who will want to eat human flesh. Those psycho people can wait a bit. Corpses, we don't want human-like corpses in there. Not at all. I don't want corpses in it. Not at all. No corpses. Go away. Off. No corpses at all. So, in fact, no, actually, I'll put the animal corpses in there for now. Because we can move them into a refrigerator when we get them and they'll be a lot closer. So, actually, no, they don't like the sight of dead bodies. Yeah, you want things like bodies out of sight where people can't see them. So, and we're going to use that as a dumping stockpile, and I'm going to do that. It's probably a bit big, to be honest. That should about do for now. That'll essentially hold things like all these chunks. If we move the chunks over, they'll put them in there, and I'll add. Yeah, corpses can go in there as well. Weapons, don't put weapons in. Oh, don't put weapons in there. So that can go in there. Don't allow rotten. I don't want rotten food in there. Rotten food, it's not an ideal thing to have, really. You can use it, but you can get diseases from them, so I wouldn't try it if I were you. So we've got those 2 there, and then we need to get growing zones on. So I'm going to put these here and try and line them up with the invisible thing that we have. So that was to there. See, I can't do that there, so now I know it's there and I can't do it. So I'm going to leave a 2 gap, then I'm going to do a 5 by 10 there. Then I'm going to get a second one on 5 by 10, and oops, nope, I want that on. Then I'm going to get a third one on 5 by 10, and I'm going to get a 4th one on. I'm going to do this way, 5 by 10. I'm going to get another one on 5 by 10. Now, the reason why I've got 5, and these will automatically do potatoes, so I want to change these. So the first one, I want to do the quick one. You have essentially 3 types that you can get. You've got potatoes, corn and rice. Potato are the average. Corn, if I remember correctly, are the quick ones, but they don't have that many nutrients. And rice take longer to grow, and they have a lot of nutrients. So now we have a cross between all three. We'll have these ones in the early time. We'll have these ones in the midterm, and then we have these ones in the long term. And because we've had an all year round growing season, we'll be able to plant these in the winters. See, if you only had a winter one, if you only was allowed to plant during the spring to the end of the fall, and then that's going to be a lot harder because you won't be able to grow in the winter, and you'll have to stockpile, and you'll need bigger areas, especially with things like rice. But down here, I'm going to use I'm going to use a tree. Now, the reason why I'm using trees is so we can get wood. Now, you do get quite a bit of wood around here, but they're not so bad. But eventually, you're going to end up chopping down most of these anyway. And I want a renewable source of wood. So I'm actually going to get an oak tree. You do have others, but they all have varying degrees of usefulness. But oak tree is the best one you can do. It takes the longest, but you get virtually all the wood from that you can use. Others, you'll be have like things, they'll rot away too quickly, and you won't be able to use them. And the last one, I can use either for cotton plant or heel root. Now, at this precise moment, we have different ways we can use heel root, and we have cotton plant. We can actually use things like fur for cotton, and leather we can make jackets with. So I'm actually going to use heel root. We can use that as a form of medicine, and that's the basis of what we've got at the moment. So I'm going to get them on there right now. We've got some things. Yes, I know they need beds, but we'll get to that in a minute. Now, first thing I want to do is go to work. And who's the miner? I'm going to pause it again for a second. This is essentially what you want to work with. So, doctor, you have a passion for doctoring, but you're not so good. But if you can do it, have a go. These are things that they're allowed to do. They'll start at this end, and then they'll go to this end. In that order. They'll do firefighting, then patient, as in, if they get hurt, they'll get in a bed. But if there's a fire, they'll pull out the fire before if they're on fire, if they get essentially get torched while in a fire, they'll try to put the fire out and then line a bed to be healed up. They won't be on fire, go, oh, there's still some fire, but I've been burnt, I'll go bed and let the others sort it. They'll put out the fire first, or die trying. And that's literal. Then there would be doctoring, then bed rest, then flick. Flick is essentially turning on switches. As far as I'm concerned, everybody can do that. Wardening is things like managing your prisoners. Handling is things for your animals, and if he's got a green one there, look, he is as high as you can physically go with that. He's a very good, decent person for that. Cook, we'll have both of those two. Hunters, we're not so bothered about them. Construct, we really do need both of them. You're so bad on them, I'll probably turn it off. Repairing, 3, that works with the construction. Growing, 3 is not so bad. Mining, you're a 2, you're a 1, okay, but you're on there. Planting, plant cuts, these essentially will cut down trees and plants, so it's sort of a manual labour thing. Smith, these will be people who will be able to make weapons and stuff from raw materials. We won't need them so much, so I'll leave them for now. Tailors, we do want a decent tailor. We've got him, that's fine. Art, we don't really care about. He can't, as you can see, these ones are blocked out because he can't do them. Crafting, they're things like stone cutting and making decorations and things. Hauling, you would definitely want all of them on there, and cleaning, all of them. And research, you essentially want the people who can research, which is just that bottom one. You can place this, and you will get numbers, and it'll go from 1 to 4 and 0. If they're blank, they won't do it, and you'll get from 1 to 4. Now, they will prioritise a number 1 first. So they'll go through the list and look for the highest number 1, do that one, and then go to the next, then go to through the 2s, then the 3s, then the 4s. So if you want somebody to, say for example, we want him to mine, then he will mine before he does anything else. All this lot is redundant for him because we have the 2. He'll do mining first. Once all the mining's finished, then he'll go through the number 3 list. You've got to remember that, because he won't go through the list how he normally would. He'd go through the numbers first. But we do want him mining, so we'll keep that on there for now. When you begin with, you really want everything on. But at the moment, we'll leave it as it is, and we'll get them working. So that can go. What? Oh yeah, forgot. Oh, blimey. Look at, oh yes. We have a warg. A female warg. Now that's very good, because if we can train this one up, we can use him to hunt for things like squirrels and the rabbits and other things. Probably even some deer. So the whole out. There we go. Here's a nice decent area for us to begin with. That's helped a lot. So I'm actually going to leave this episode here, and what I'll do, I'll make some planning stuff up here, and I'll probably get the dude to mine that one out. So we'll get some. I will skip out a little bit of the building, but I will show you how it's done to some extent. In fact, we have another one there as well. You can mine that. So we have a couple rooms. We have one small room. That's brilliant, because that will fit 3 beds in it and a door. If they sleep outside, they'll get annoyed. But we'll get to that in the next episode. I'll finish this right now. We've been quite a while. It's been about 45 minutes. So I'll leave the episode here, and I'll see you in the next episode. So see you later. Bye.